Alright, so in today's video, I decided I want to go over my workflow. So generally how I'd go about making a game. So for this one, we're making an obby. And I want to make a story mode obby, not just one of those classic obbies, because if I go to my communities, you can see I already have a few obbies that are just normal obbies, right? I want to go and make a story obby because I see those have more success than normal obbies. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to play one, get a general idea for like how the layouts work, how they're doing their monetization, how they're doing playtime. And we're gonna go from there. So let's get to it. So first, escape the dungeon obby. We're gonna play this. So right here, you can see this is the beginning. And I'm assuming this lever would pull this down. It's a little small room, just, you know, so people can load in. So, okay, I think you just walk up and it opens that. And they got this hole in the way. Okay, so the textures, they aren't the greatest. They seem to be like 2008, 2009, which I think is part of the art style that's going on here, like that. And then what they're doing right here is they're turning the humanoid health to max health 0, and then on the model, they're naming it, so that way it has text over it. That way they don't have to do dialogues like they normally would. They keep these spawns green, that way, that's cool, I didn't see the UI for a second there. But yeah, this is the checkpoint. That's how you'll know, is they'll be red and you have to turn them green. I like how this is set up. It's just one little cylinder, I'm pretty sure, with a union in it. Oh, that might be, no, I think it's just squares right here and then a wedge on the side. That's pretty cool. So the way you do, oh, I like that. Or you step on them and they, yeah, all right, yeah, I see what's there. And they got this moving texture. That looks pretty cool. I like the particle effects they have going up, even though it's the default particle effect, and they just have two of them because you have a red and orange. Yeah, I like the little haystacks too. This does look really medieval. I like the way they did this. And I like how they have like a little story going on because it's nothing major, but it's the little things that matter over time, like that. If they didn't have this would be a completely different game, and I think this would have significantly less players. I think they should change that though. That is a horrible UI. And let's check the shop while we're at it. Oh, I think this is the people that made the Barry's Prison obby as well. So this is the server shop. Okay, so this is like if you buy it, you keep it, I assume. And then this would be, you can only use it on this one server. Got it. Well, I don't know why that changes when you scroll, why that would be blue when you know? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But when you hear it's red, and this is obviously one of the red in the server shop, and then you scroll up and it goes to the normal. They also have pets. Robux for pets. I don't think these have any changes to your actual gameplay. And there's so many blank spots right here that doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, so that's their more games button. Yeah, Barry's Prison Run right here. Yep. I have a lot of games, wow. That's smart. That's a good way to traffic around people. Anywho, back to playing the game. I like this. They don't have any normal maps on these, but I don't think they really need them. Whoever designed this knew what they were doing. I get why this has players on. I bet this runs really well on mobile end devices, which if you don't know, 85%, I believe this is 85% roughly, are mobile players. Oh, I like that. So, well, oh, I like when you die, it also pops up shop stuff. That's cool. That's a good way to get people to pay in your game. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roughly, not like 1-for-1 copy of it. Okay, that one goes way faster. I'm not gonna 1-for-1 copy what this game is, but I am gonna try to use inspiration from this. That way I can make a better product, because you don't want to just go in blindly like, oh, I want to make an obby and then not know what the obby is gonna be about or what's gonna be in it. I think there's certain things I could do better, as well as there's certain things I could definitely do worse if I didn't put in the effort. Okay, so you gotta open chests. I think that's a bad idea to kill someone like that, because the little wait time right there between opening chests. Yeah, that's not cool. I wonder if that's random every time or if it's the same chest every time. That's a big key. I've never seen a key this big. That's bigger than the door. And then it can collide once it's open. That's cool. Here's the next checkpoint. So I'm assuming that if you step on those, they'll like clink down. So we're gonna try not to do that. I like how they get like gradually closer together. If you look through these, it's a pretty cool skill gap. Only go down. Assuming this beam is like the last piece. All right, cool. Yeah, that's a pretty cool one to do for playtime. You just take the same, I'm pretty sure it's the same structure as the other one, and then just a little bit different. Like how they did this too. That way it doesn't just, you know, a little cutout right here. I like that little design. Ooh, this is a mesh. I don't know what kind of mesh they use here, but that's a mesh. I like how this hints at like what the next thing's gonna be. Oh, okay, got you. So I'm guessing if you touch this, it sets off. Get that checkpoint and go back and check that. I don't know if that's can collide or if that actually does set a trap off. Oh, okay, cool. I hope that's a local and not server side. Anywho, back to it. It's a lot of just jumping around on this. Oh, so if you hit that, I guess it makes the bowling ball go. Whoever designed this did a good job. Okay, so it turns into speedrun 4 here. I like the variety. There's only like, what, 2-3 levels where it's just jumping. And granted, this is the same thing, but at least has a little bit of a twist to it. The bowling ball, or sorry, what's it called? The wrecking ball. Yeah, the wrecking ball didn't do that much. Doesn't really fit thematically either. But you gotta do what you gotta do to get more variety in the game. I feel like they should stop the speed like right here. Or right, you know, a little bit closer. That was a little bit weird. I can see people getting bored having to do that little walk. I like that there's a still texture at the bottom, purple block down below, and then this moving texture. I don't know why they wouldn't do that earlier. Why they waited till now to do it. I like the little hints they do like this, because I know it really helps younger players that don't really understand what's going on. And I'm assuming their player base is mostly probably like 6 to 13, roughly guessing. Okay, this is just a walking simulator for playtime at this point, because I know the players that have played this long aren't just gonna quit. randomly. They still got to keep it at least somewhat challenging. I wonder what the churn rates are on this. Churn rates are when people leave. I don't know if you could hear that in the recording, but there was a guy that just died, and they didn't play it locally. They played it server side when he died. And is this one that goes up? Yep. So with this is clearly just another playtime thing where they're just trying to make you sit there. This is probably another additional 5 to 10 seconds, which on the algorithm that could help a ton. An additional 5 to 10 seconds can be a life changer. That could be 100 players right there. And then there they go, the hint at the dragon while also giving you lava jumps, which is, I'm surprised it took this long to get 2 lava jumps. What did you go around the side? Oh, nothing. It's kind of crazy they have this whole modeled dragon. And I think only the head is, oh, the wings are modeled too, but the rest of it, oh, that's pretty cool. I think they use the old hinges or whatever it's called from like 2011. This must be really old. How old is this game? I'll check real quick. This game's from 2018. It feels like something from like 2013. That's crazy. They did good on the modeling. It feels like they're getting more creative as the levels go on, which is kind of weird. You don't really see that often. Normally it's all front loaded. It's kind of weird this is like sort of back loaded to an extent. Okay, that jump needs to be fixed. You should be able to make that jump. I assume that's a hard jump for most players. If I'm struggling with this, I know a child struggling with this. Okay, yeah, got it. I'm glad there ain't any harder jumps than that. That would have been rough if I had to do an even harder jump than that. Does this slide? Oh, that's a missed opportunity if these don't slide when you walk on them. Yeah, that's a missed opportunity. I wonder why it's ice inside this dragon though. That doesn't make any sense. Thematically at least. These are hard to see. They should have done some form of an outline around these. Or made the floor black so you can see better. Yeah, see, there's another one of those playtime things where they're just trying to get you to play longer and longer, which is pretty cool, in my opinion, but I think they should have structured it better. I'm gonna see another one. I think they ran out of ideas at this point, and that's why they were doing what they were doing. It seems like they're just trying for the most playtime possible, which obviously you should, but I think this game, if they made a remake of it and just reworked a few levels, this game could be way better off in the algorithm. Yeah, see another one of those where it's just a flat walk. If this would have at least been upstairs, that way it's harder to see where the top is because you have to look all the way up and most people just look forward and go. That probably would have done better churn-wise. Or if they just had like a little bit of structure, a little bit of a wall here, then darker ground, so it's at least easier on the eyes and just this gray dull texture that you can literally see the lines through. I think it would have done better, but I mean, it works. It works clearly. It's in the algorithm. But is that because of the rest of the games and also being on their more games icon, or, you know, there's a lot of things this could be. Not 100% sure why this is fully popping off. I feel like this is more of like a 60 to 70 player game than a few hundred player game, but I can only safely assume that it's from the other games. And they have a pretty basic finish too. I'm assuming this teleporter would send you to another game of theirs. These are all like 2009 things. These even work? Okay, they do work. Okay, those do work. I wonder if these are server side or local though. Pretty sure these are local. Most of them were made local. Jump pad. So what does speed pad do? Is it to make you go faster? Yeah. There's not much to do here. I'm assuming this goes back to the beginning. No. Gives you a badge. This game would be made so much better if they put more care into it. Yeah, see, it just leads to another random game of theirs. All right, so now let's look at like a general workflow, because I did make a blueprint of a game that's similar to it. That would be just a prison game using similar parts of the course. This was the rough draft of it. So you'd have a little bedroom, but instead of going through the front door, it'd be an escape. You jump out this hole, then lasers, you gotta jump through. And then after this, I stopped doing the walls because this is obviously just a blueprint. And then there's this little spawn instead of the square one they're using. So that way, when you hit it, it goes from this little red, orange to green. So it looked more like this when you hit it, right? So you go from this to this when you hit it. Then there's these little jumps, and you'll have like a little ventilation thing you got to go through. Because I also did play the Barry's Prison when I was doing this. Another checkpoint here that ends off right when you jump out. You hit these and they would sink down just like the other one. This would be a fan level similar to the Barry's one. They use conveyors instead of normal like wind blowing techniques. Like you would think that it would be pushing you, but they're just using conveyors, because if you jumped on that when I was playing the game, I realized that that is just a conveyor. And then these are spike traps similar to what you saw on the other one. And then these are, you have to walk past guards, and these are the little vision things. You gotta go over, around, and then little jumps right here. Make this a little bit longer of a level because it's pretty easy since you're just avoiding certain areas. And then a maze through vents. Then you leave a shipping dock. 2 guards over here, which you pretty much can't hit. And then broken pavement. And then, broken asphalt. And then you gotta go through all this. And then there's an easier way, and then there's a harder way that takes longer. But this one's a lot easier than this. Then you go underground, and then you're pretty much doing the same course again, but more compact and also harder at the same time. And then you can see right here where I started getting the design together, and that you would grab the key, because I changed it from that to that original area to this. And then I realized I don't really like that. I would rather do a key thing. And then so there's a police officer right here. You would grab the key, leave through here, go through this room, and then what I'm gonna do for this is make this right here transparent, flip this so that way it looks like it's reflectant. Then you go into here and it'll be a cafeteria. And I need to change the color of these tables from green, but the way I show that there's different levels your own is these walls right here. So level 1's blue, then it's a different type of blue on the next level, and then it goes to green. But yeah, that's my general workflow. Thought I'd record this, thought I'd make for a good video. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, subscribe for more, and see you.